Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back! We are starting a new game with the Work in Progress Alpha 18 version. First, we're going to pick up this scenario. I'm going to choose the abandoned mining station, and of course the hardest choice will be in naming the game. Not that it really matters in the end. We're gonna go with Supernova with Unstable 18 as the game name. Next, we have the difficulty setting to choose. I'm going to go with medium difficulty as I do not consider myself an expert in this game, so I see no point in choosing a harder difficulty and then losing the game in the first few game days, as I'm not that familiar with the game and how to play it. After that, we are greeted by this screen, where we can see the seed for the game on top of the screen and the different settings for this particular scenario, and we can change these settings if we so choose. For example, we can change the amount of resources we start with, what is available in the starting sector, do crew members form relationships with each other, how certain factions view you, what starting technology is available, and several things related to the galaxy creation and how often you may encounter certain resources or events. Now to the meat of the game creation, the crew. I think this is the most important part of the game if you wish to min-max the game, and I'm certainly guilty of that. This screen is going to take a while to explain. On the top we have the crew members. In the difficulty screen, which by the way was the one before this, we could choose the amount of the starting crew and how we can edit the crew members. On medium difficulty we have the full edit available. On harsh you only get to reroll the crew by default, and on brutal you can do no edits or rerolls. These can be changed on the difficulty screen, however, so even in brutal you can build the optimal crew. Editing mode can be opened next to the character name. Right of the name you can change the occupation before the apocalypse. This seems to be just flavor text, as it currently doesn't seem to change anything within the game. Traits revealed after the apocalypse, however, gives the character certain bonuses or penalties. Penalties also usually give the character 1 or 2 potential skill points to use. Under the character portrait, you can change the shirt and pants color. This and name the character can both be done even if character editing is completely disabled. Each character has 4 attributes and 12 attribute points, with each attribute having 1 to 5 points, meaning you have 8 points to distribute. These affect the different statistics that the characters have. You can see these below the attributes. If you hover your cursor above any of these, they give you more detailed explanation of what they do. Bravery changes the surrender chance. Starting with -5% with 1 point, each point decreases this chance by 5%. Each point of bravery also increases the base happiness of the character by 3 points. Zest, and I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, changes the working speed and recovery stats. Working speed starts with 104% with that one starting point, and each point increases this by 4%, while recovery starts with 85% with 1 point, and each point gives a 5% increase. Zest also gives the character more health and energy points. Each point gives the character 20 health points and 15 energy points. Intelligence governs how much skill point potential a character has and how easily the character learns new skill points. Each point in intelligence increases the learning stat by 2%. I'm gonna talk more about the skill points later on. Perception determines how accurate the character is with guns. Each point contributes a 6% increase to accuracy, and working speed is increased by 2% for each point. Accident chance is also decreased by 2% for each point. Now, let's have a quick look at the skills. For more information about the individual skills, have your mouse on that particular skill. Intelligence governs the skill point potential your characters have. With 1 intelligence, every character has 39 base potential skill points and 16 skill points. Each point in intelligence increases the potential by 5 points and skill points by 3. There are 12 skills, and every character can have 0 to 10 skill points in the skills. If a character has 0 skill point potential in a skill, then that task will be unavailable to that character. The difference between the skill point potential and the skill points is that the potential determines how good that character can become in a skill, and skill points determine how well trained the character is in that field. So if you are a minimaxer like myself, you want, for example, your researcher to have the potential for the research skill to be the maximum of 10 points. Same with your farmer. The botanist skill potential should be 10 for those crew members. As for skill points, they should be divided between the skills you choose for the characters. Note that when you give your character a point of potential, it also gives the character a minimum of 1 skill point to that particular skill. You should note that certain tasks in the game require your characters to have a minimum amount of skill points. For example, to farm artificial meat, you need a botany skill of 6. On the right side of the screen, you can see the top skills your team currently has, and the number on the right indicates the minimum required by the scenario. And I think that covers most things on this screen, so good luck with your crew creation! Time to meet the crew. Adair is the team's weapons specialist and the main person in offensive combat situation. His bravery and the psychopath trait helps in keeping him in line when the going gets tough. He has a minus 35% chance of surrendering. Perception 4 and the weapon skill 10 gives him an 84% hit chance. He can also wield the shotgun we are given in the beginning of the game. Eventually, he will be trained to work as a gunner, run the operations console, and work as a fighter pilot. During peacetime, he can also help as a researcher. Calvin's primary job is to work as a miner. Mining 10 and the hardworking trade gives him a huge boost in the beginning. Secondary jobs include construction, industry, and a little bit support in the field of botany. Calvin also has maximum weapon potential, but only 2 skill points initially set up for weapons. He can also work as a shield operator during times of crisis. Next we have Indy, who is the group's main researcher. Intelligence 5 gives plenty of skills to choose from, and the fast learner trait boosts the amount of XP the character gains. Naturally, her research is set to start at 10 skill points. Secondary skill is set to be a medic with 9 skill points. When the research is eventually all done, she has the potential to work in botany, construction, and industry. There is also a little bit of mining, navigation, shielding, and operations thrown in. She is a character where the build is designed to work even in the late game once all research is done. Indy is one of the 2 characters that will not be touching guns. Layton is the captain of the crew. He starts out with a balanced set of skills and the fast learner trait. Navigation is the main focus, with weapons, construction, and industry following. Few points were thrown to operations as well. Editor's note, I probably should have given these points to piloting instead. Rocio is the hardworking industrial member of the crew. Zest of 5 means the working speed is 142% with the hardworking trait. Industry, construction, botany, and weapons start with full potential, but the skill points are rather evenly spread, leaving plenty of room for Rocio to learn. Gunner and medical skill of 1 point were thrown in just in case something happens to the main characters who are responsible for those skills. The last member of the crew is our farmer Tonya. She is hardworking and starts with a botany skill of 7, which means she can start planting different produce right away as the game begins. Industry and construction potential also starts at 10. She is the second of our team members who will not be exploring derricks or fighting in the front lines. She can do industrial jobs and construction jobs once the main people on those fields are away. Shielding, operations, and medical skills were also added to give some backup skills if the main person doing these tasks is not available for some reason. And that is it for the setup. Now we can actually start the game, but I think this is long enough for this video, and we will be exploring the game in the next episode. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed. Bye for now.